If you and your friends want to party in Las Vegas for free, you don't have to buy tickets or pay cover at the door or buy a bottle. What if I told you you could see your favorite DJs in Las Vegas for free? All Las Vegas clubs have a free guest list option. Today in this video, I'm going to be going over what the guest list is, how it works, why it's free, and how to get on it. Both the pros and cons of using the guest list, what traps to look out for, and what to expect. Hey, my name is Norman J. I'm a nightclub promoter here in Las Vegas, and my goal is to help inform you so that you and your friends can have the highest quality Vegas party experience. So just a disclaimer, the guest list only gets you into the club for free. The drinks are not included unless stated otherwise. There are some events in Las Vegas that have drink tickets or open bar for ladies, which I will tell you later in this video. Okay, so what is the guest list? So in Las Vegas, the guest list is a free option that grants access to the club. This allows free entry for certain groups before a certain time. Okay, so what does certain groups mean? So the amount of the group is never really the issue, but the ratio of guys to girls could and usually does matter. So some events in Las Vegas, only girls are free. Some events you need even ratio or better. And all even ratio means is you need at least one girl to every guy in the group for you guys to be free on the guest list. And of course, more girls is always okay. And lastly, everybody is free. And it's probably no surprise to you guys that girls have a huge advantage in Las Vegas. So currently, every nightclub in Las Vegas does have a guest list, including Dre's, because Dre's did not have a guest list in all of 2021 and most of 2022. For Las Vegas nightclubs and day clubs, this is how the guest list works. You reach out to a promoter like myself, you give me your first and last name, how many guys and girls are in your guys' group. I put you guys on the list, you guys show up on time, you check in with the confirmation text that I send you, and you guys get in for free. That's it. Now, this is only true if the guest list rules allow for your group to be free. Let me explain. I did talk about it earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. In Las Vegas, there are three main types of groups for guest lists. There are all girl groups, guys that come with girls, and then all guy groups or just everybody. Now, all girl groups are almost always free to almost all clubs. Only for some very big headliners, there might not be a guest list at all. Like if it's Justin Bieber, Drake, Chris Brown, or Lil Baby. Now, guys with even ratio girls are free to almost all clubs. Now, if there are more guys than girls, for some events, the additional guys are gonna have to pay, which is usually a reduced cover. Now, all guy groups have the least free options, no surprise there. The free options for all guy groups on Fridays and Saturdays are EBC at Night, Zouk IU, Jewel, and sometimes Hakkasan. Wet Republic and Tao Beach on Fridays and Sundays. And on the weekdays, all guy groups are free to all or most clubs. Now, I just want to make that very clear. An all guy group cannot just get on the guest list for XS or Omnia on a Friday or Saturday night and you're gonna be free. At least once a night, this will happen where a group of guys will show up to XS and they will say, but we're on the guest list. So I'm just trying to make that very clear. Only if the guest list rules allow for your group to be free. So for the events that do not allow all guy groups free, these groups have three options. The first one is you can buy a table, which is the most expensive option. Second one, you can buy tickets. And the third one, you can pay a reduced cover on the guest list. The reduced cover is generally gonna be half the price of what the online ticket pricing is. So let's say, for example, the ticket pricing for XS on a Saturday is $100. If you wait in line on the guest list, then the reduced price would be around $50. Now, these are not exact prices. I'm just trying to give you guys an example. Just as a rule of thumb, generally speaking, the busier the event is, the tighter the guest list rules are gonna be. And the guest list rules can always be adjusted according to capacity, which is directly correlated with the ticket sales. If an event is trending to be busier than normal, then the guest list rules can get more strict. So maybe instead of even ratio groups free until 1 a.m., maybe it's just free till 12, or maybe it's just free for the first hour. And if an event sells out of tickets, which is extremely rare, then the guest list will be cut entirely. But this also goes the other way. If an event is not as busy as originally expected, then they can loosen up the guest list rules. And this leads into my next point, which is, why is the guest list in Las Vegas free? The main reason is because clubs in Las Vegas are massive, and there's too many clubs open now and not enough bodies to fill them. Both Omnia and XS capacity is about 4,000 people. Now, even on a busy night with the main room tables sold out, that might be about 600 people total. Maybe they sell somewhere between 400 to 600 tickets. The club will still not look very full, and an empty club doesn't look good. So they have a guest list to fill the club up as early as possible. Las Vegas pro tip, Getting on the guest list in Las Vegas isn't really getting hooked up. It's as easy as texting a promoter like me or signing up on an app or a website. All guest list credit gets paid out to somebody, so you guys signing up on my guest list actually pays me. Well, that's if you guys check in for me. So I would like to take this time to formally thank you guys for checking in for me and texting me. And if you or your friends need any help in Las Vegas, feel free to text or DM me. WhatsApp is the most reliable, so I prefer that. And if I don't reply, then please double text me or try another platform, please. You could DM me on Instagram. My handle is NormanJ_Las Vegas. Or you could text or WhatsApp me. My number is 702-381-1873. Okay, now back to the guest list. The guest list option is more often than not the best option for most groups to get into the club. Now, when does the guest list not work? Or shall I say, when do people not get in for free on the guest list? The three main reasons why people don't get in for free. First one is you must be in dress code. The second one, you cannot have any drugs, weapons, or substances that the club will not allow in, like subscription medicine. And the last one, which is the number one reason why people don't get in for free on the guest list, which is also the hardest one to follow, you must be on time. Guest list is not free all night. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, what's the catch? Or is there any bad news about the guest list? And the answer is yes. Now, if you ask me what the catch would be for waiting in the guest list, would be waiting in the guest list line. Because it could be thousands of people getting in for free. And the guest list line is almost always the longest line at the club. And a Las Vegas myth that I want to expose. A lot of people think that Las Vegas clubs hold the line on purpose to create an appearance of being busy so that they could charge more at the door, only to find out that it's not that busy inside. This is not the case at Vegas clubs. Well, at least the good ones. XS and Omnia get hundreds to thousands of people checked in every night on the guest list in only a 2.5 hour window all the time. Believe me, we want you guys to get in. We only get paid if you guys get in. And Vegas club lines, although they could look very intimidatingly long, most of the time it's moving decently fast. And at these clubs, if there's a line, trust me, it's worth it. You want the club to be busy. And most of the time, that doesn't happen without there being a line at some point in time. Another thing to mention about the guest list is the guest list does not always grant you access to the main room of the club. XS, for example, the guest list starts on the outside and they only allow people into the main room according to capacity, which is not always right away. So you might be outside for a bit. And during the winter, it's cold, so please bring a warm jacket. On busy nights at Zouk, guest list might not have access to the main room at all. You can always check with your promoter to know what to expect. Now, I mentioned earlier that some events have free drinks for girls. The clubs that have open bar or free drinks for girls are Jewel on Fridays and Saturdays, Marquee Day and Night, Wednesday, Fridays and Saturdays, Tao Nightclub, Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, Tao Beach, any day but Saturday day, XS or Encore on Wednesday nights, EBC night most nights that we are open, and sometimes on XS night swims. Okay, so the worst thing about the guest list in Las Vegas is that the guest list is subject to capacity and can be cut at any time if the club hits capacity. Thankfully, for the past 3 years, this is extremely rare for this to happen. And when it does, it's almost always on a holiday weekend. So Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July, Labor Day weekend, and New Year's Eve. The guest list is the only free option of entry to the club, and the paid guests will always be prioritized over the free guests. I'm sorry, but that's just how it goes. It is possible that sometimes clubs are not ready for the high volume of traffic, and if the club is close to hitting capacity with a lot of pre-sale tickets or tables that were not sat yet, then they must cut the guest list early in order to make sure that there is space for the paid guests. New Year's Eve, I think, is one of the worst examples of this situation, and that's why I recommend buying tickets for New Year's Eve. XS did have a guest list every time, but the guest list was cut earlier than expected for the past 3 years or so now. So New Year's Eve, again, that's one of the few nights out of the year that I actually don't recommend you guys using the guest list and you guys buying pre-sale tickets instead. For the events that could possibly get the guest list cut, it is the responsibility of the promoter to communicate that with you as the guest. This is why it's extremely important to have a good promoter. Having a good promoter could really break or make your Vegas trip. There are countless horror stories of promoters lying to guests, basically saying whatever they think they need to say to help boost their chances of you checking in for them. Some promoters will say that Diplo or Martin Garrix canceled for that night. Or they might say, have fun waiting in line for 2 hours just to not get let into the main room. Now, if you're not sure about what a promoter said, then it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion. You should always protect yourself and try to get as much information as possible. Now, if everyone says that there is no guest list for that said event, then it's probably true. But if only one promoter is saying that either Omnia or XS does not have a guest list tonight, then that might not be the case, and I would recommend getting a second opinion. Now, I did mention traps earlier in the beginning of this video. Now, aside from bad promoters either misguiding or being uninformed, we definitely need to talk about holiday weekends in Las Vegas. During very busy weekends, please understand that traffic is higher for everyone, everywhere. You need to arrive earlier, and you're probably gonna have to wait in line longer. And the guest list line is affected the most on holiday weekends. Because the holiday weekends are the busiest, there are more prepaid guests and free guests. And like I mentioned earlier, the prepaid guests are always gonna be prioritized over the people that don't pay. The busier the event, the earlier you're gonna need to arrive to still get in for free. For Las Vegas guest list, the most important factor, like we said prior, was time. It is only free if you arrive on time. Don't play with me saying shit like, we were here, but now they're saying the guest list is closed, or now they're trying to charge my boyfriend $100. 9 out of 10 times, if you are on the guest list and you were actually on time, then you would have just been free and we wouldn't have to have this conversation. Now, if the guest list ends at 1, don't leave your hotel at 12:30. Like, yes, it's a party, but it's not your fucking friend's house party. The nightclubs will charge you anywhere between $50 to $150 at the door. Las Vegas pro tip, when getting around in Las Vegas, don't underestimate the commute time. Las Vegas hotels are huge, some bigger than others. Sometimes your hotel room is far along down the hallway. Sometimes you get lost at your hotel or the hotel of where the club is. Sometimes you have to wait in line to get a taxi or wait for your Uber. And sometimes there's a lot of traffic on the strip. Not to mention, you and your friends are probably drinking this entire time. Always plan for more than 30 minutes to commute. Once in the vehicle, it could take anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes to get from one place to another. Knowing this, just make sure you're on time so you guys get in for free. Now, overall, the Las Vegas guest list, I think, is the best option most of the time and should be used most of the time. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. If you are wondering how to find and work with a promoter or host, or what other options that are out there, I did make a video about that. You can check it out right here. I'll see you guys in the next one, and in Vegas. Peace.